Hello guys, it's Jesse Lane. We're going to talk about some of the ideas I used in the chord melody improvisation that you can listen to if you haven't already, because this won't make much sense. So essentially what I did is I had this idea using chords that had some fourths in them. So what that means is instead of using, for instance, a plain old minor chord like something like this, B, F sharp, A, D, we change that F sharp out, lower it down, so now we have a B next to an E, which is of course a fourth. B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have an E, F, G, A, another fourth, A, B, C, D, another fourth. So this chord shape, you're going to bar fifth string down to the first string, although you're not going to play the first string in this case because that would be the third. Not that you can't, but I'm just not. That's the shape. We're going to move it up. We get a C sharp, F sharp, B, E. This is giving us a certain sound by moving these two chords like that. And I put this all over an E root. This is a little emulating a bass sound. You can do it here. This is very dissonant. It's actually a major chord. It's an E, D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp. It's actually a major 7th, 6th, 9 voicing. Okay, so then we go to the pure E minor sound, E, A, D, G. You might remember that from your open strings. Go figure, all fourths, right? And then now we had this too. C, F, B flat, E flat. Doesn't fit at all, just sounds cool because it's going quick. Then we have that D, G, C, F chord. Also doesn't really fit that well, but again, in the context, that all works. They go by quick, so you don't... Using the pinky finger to pulling off to an open. I know I did this in there too. Using that third finger to pull off that A to the open. Using very subtle dynamics. When you play solo stuff, go back to that G. I don't think I did anything that guitaristic in that though. I was trying to stay more off of the stuff you would normally do when you play like that, you know? One of the few times you do stuff like that is when you're trying to not sound like a guitar. Doing a lot of that. Double repeat the note, pull off. Another pull off, well that's still ringing, right? E, pull off to an octave down. C sharp, D, so E Dorian. That would have been cool, I didn't do that before, but that would have been nice. That would have been nice. Yeah, that's nice. Remember that if you're going to do it on your own. So I've tried playing with melodic a little bit, or harmonic, whatever way you want to look at it. That's that D sharp. Remember we had it here, octave, but it's going by fast. So these are just sort of. And that's the idea. You do these little lines in between the chords, and then you try to remember. Sing it in your head, dude, so you can end up. And then like this. This is the D chord. Pull that off. Why is that cool? Well, F natural to E dissonance. Why is that cool? Well, it's not that cool, but it's the other side of the dissonance. This is the higher side. That sounds all out of tune. I wanted it that way. I wanted some tension in there. It's a lot of agitation and tension. Start, stop. Good way to create some agitation. Syncopate. I could have done more with it. Now that I'm analyzing it, it's more fun when you analyze it. I did some things where I was playing like a note and then an octave. As I was playing it, I started feeling this pull. I wanted to feel this pull against that flat six, because the flat six isn't really there. It's not something your ear really wants to hear. So I kept feeling that pull to get that C in there. I wanted to get that C in there, but I didn't really want to emphasize it, but I wanted it because there's a little tension. It's just enough to really say, whoa. So, what the heck was that? Well, so C, C sharp, skipping a string, a lot of space, again, keeping it agitated. Using those tension notes only very sparingly. A lot of people forget about that. A lot of people start thinking, oh, I gotta use all this outside. Everybody who plays jazz is playing outside. Well, most of the time they're not actually, and that's why it's cool, is because when you do use it, it's refreshing. It says, whoa, that's a different sound. Your ear has not been accustomed to that sound, because most of what they're playing isn't that. That's the trick. You want a good giveaway from all that we're talking about with chromaticism and playing outside? That's a giveaway right there. Is don't focus so much on the outside stuff. I can't emphasize that enough. So most of what I'm doing is Dorian. It's nothing fancy. It's just to mess around with rhythm. There's one of those C's. I still got that in my head. You can always transpose things by an octave. Giveaway trick. I mean, do that. Play with rhythm. Do the same thing in 3 octaves, 3 different ways rhythmically. No one will ever know. It'll sound cool because it's something they've heard, and then they're going to hear it in another register, hear it in another register. Very easy technique. Tip for chord melody playing: embrace what happens as it happens, because it's never going to happen that way again. So even if it sounded weird or you thought it sounded wrong, go with it. Figure out what of that stuff you did made it sound wrong, and try to do it again without doing it in a wrong sounding way, if that makes any sense. That's probably why I got that C idea. I probably flubbed the C, put a clam in there that I didn't want, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to try it, and I'm going to try it again. And I did, and it sounded cool, so I kept doing it and doing it. And then it became this extra element of the piece. So that's how you got to think when you improvise. You can't think you're wrong, and you can't think what you do sounds bad. You have to just let it happen as it happens. You hear a lot of people in jazz world say, well, if you play it wrong once, then it's a mistake. If you play it wrong twice, it's jazz. That oversimplifies what I'm talking about, but now you understand what I'm saying. If you do a wrong note, make it work, flip it into something that can make sense. You don't necessarily have to keep harping on the wrong note. I hear people do that a lot. They play a wrong note, and it's like this, this screw you attitude, like, okay, I played the wrong note, but I'm jazz, so I'm going to play it wrong again and again and again. No, stupid idea. Move on, and then bring it back in a more creative way, and then you've conquered it. That's how you know you've really thought your way through it. It's a mental game. Until next time.